Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Fumble Live. We have a lot to get into today, as usual. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment below, share it with your friends. Now, here is the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward. Chris.
It's your boy Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K.
What's up, everybody? It's Jackie Ray. You can follow me everywhere at JRay the Fanatic.
Hey guys, it's Britt Johnson. You can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson. Even the racists.
So,
Britt, you had the Chris delay today. The Chris surprised it was your turn delay. Yeah.
Might be my internet. I felt like I went right after you.
That's what I try to tell y'all every single time.
No, it's the same with you, Chris.
Oh
you did it
my
every
God.
day for 4 months.
No, I say it right after I hear Devin, but y'all say I had a delay.
We need to imitate you again because you are always like this.
Yeah, because I was making sure. Look.
Hey guys, it's Chris Clark.
Look, is this gonna be a 2-day war?
Are we on? Is this thing on? Is this thing on?
2-day war. Okay, we stealing segments and now.
Yesterday, you tried to take the whole show. You tried to do everybody's part.
I was just.
You did it better than
Britt,
all of us.
what do you say? Never let
Yeah.
a rookie take your spot, right? So Dev came after my segment, so I came after her song. That's what you got to do. I had to make sure you guys know I was here.
Yeah, but with the reverb and everything, though, Chris, you just gonna Beyonce her? Really?
Don't let a rookie take your spot. All right. I had LeBron Zion over there a little bit, okay?
I practiced in the shower yesterday, so my singing is on point today. So
I can't wait.
Also, just before we jump in, I wanted to let you all know that I did look for Friday on Netflix and Hulu yesterday, and it's not there. So I need to figure out how to watch it because I don't want to get roasted again.
If you would like to, if you have a DVD or Blu-ray player, I know a lot of people don't anymore, but you can borrow my DVD because I have one. I actually have an extra.
Yes.
I think I have an extra Blu-ray player if you would like to stop by, and I will just throw it in your car for you.
There you go.
That's not Devin. I think it's on Prime though, Amazon Prime.
Yeah, you have to rent it though.
It's only like $2 though.
Yeah, $3.99.
You better rent it. You better rent it because now at this point in time, there's no.
It'll be worth it. No, you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't know and just go Google what are all the best quotes from Friday. Don't do it because if you don't use it in the right context, I'm gonna know you just didn't.
We'll know.
Listen, I'm not a liar. I will not lie about watching the movie. I will actually watch it. I may need the weekend to accomplish this goal because I don't think I'm going to have time today. So that's I wanted to.
Okay. Monday.
So no Friday by Friday.
Yeah, we'll give it to Monday. That's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
That was perfect, right? Friday by Friday, but we'll do Monday.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Guys. Well, on that note, let's jump right into the need-to-know news. So Russell Westbrook, as we all know, is diagnosed with coronavirus, and now it was just reported that he was partying it up in Las Vegas. He was poolside at the Encore Beach Club at the Wynn Hotel ahead of his arrival to the bubble. So this happened about a month ago. They even posted this, or they posed for this picture for the hotel. All of them there looking, like they're having a good time.
Is that Reggie?
Yeah.
That's what I asked. Is it?
It's Reggie Bush.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm down for this party.
Yeah, there's a whole crew of them. And then one of them also tweeted saying that they were walking the strip. They said, quote, Russell Westbrook was walking the strip with his entourage. I was there and I can confirm. So obviously we cannot confirm that he got coronavirus at this pool party. Like it wasn't necessarily the reason that he got this positive test result, but it wouldn't be so hard to believe that he maybe did come in contact with somebody while he was there just because there's a bunch of people out there partying. So anyway, that's just come out. He was partying. People are surprised by it. So now it's delayed his arrival to the NBA bubble. He's not able to practice with his teammates. So, Britt, at what point do you think Russ's absence is going to be an issue for the Rockets as they get ready for their playoff push?
Well, considering it's not just Russ and James Harden came a week late than the rest of his team did, or their team did. it could be like, because those are their two stars. So that could like dramatically affect, them just getting bailed back and whatever with the team. Because now everything really for the Rockets organization is going to be a week behind everybody else, because yes, they both did arrive yesterday, but they are still now in quarantine until they're cleared to join their team. So they're delayed at least a week, if not longer, than the rest of their team. And I think he probably did get it from that time, because he went the first weekend that was open, and they actually, the Wynn Hotel announced or came out with this statement, and they said at that time they did not make face masks mandatory. It was strongly encouraged, but obviously people that were going in the hotels and going to different events and stuff, they did not have to have face masks on at that time. So it's very possible. And then obviously because he's already symptom free of it and, doesn't have it anymore, he's clearly had it for several weeks already. So I think he probably did get it from that situation. Don't go to Vegas, guys, because even though Vegas's numbers aren't that high, it's because people go there and then come back home.
Okay.
And then
everyone's frozen again.
Oh, Devin, I didn't even know you were frozen.
I'm sorry. I missed the last bit.
Really listening to me.
Not blinking. Just
right.
But based on what I did hear you say, Britt, I think I'm with you. I mean, they are now going to be weeks behind the rest of the teams in the bubble, so I think it could impact them. So Russ was obviously partying in Vegas as some states were starting to open up and they were relaxing their lockdown rules. And so kind of, I think for a lot of people created a false sense of security, like they thought it was okay to go partying. So Jackie, do you think it was irresponsible for Russ to go to this Vegas pool party 1 month before he was supposed to arrive to the bubble, or do you not blame him for thinking it was okay to go out and socialize?
I definitely think it was okay for him to go out and socialize. When I saw this, actually not this story, when I had another friend that tested positive for coronavirus. And so I think I told you guys that my brother had it as well. So I've had to read up on it some more. So I went to the CDC because, sometimes you just get information from all over the internet about what a positive result means. And so I went to the CDC and I'm like, no wonder everybody in this country is freaking confused, because it says, a positive result shows that you have the infection. But then I just had to screenshot it, y'all, because it says, however, there is a chance that a positive result means that you have antibodies from another infection. So do I have it or not? You know what I mean? So it's super confusing to me. And I'm like, okay, this is why people are being irresponsible, because people are probably going to the internet. They're going to the CDC. They're going to our government. And the information is just it's not enough to make people really take it super seriously across the board. And when you've been on lockdown and then all of a sudden you hear, oh, we're easing the restrictions, you kind of want to get out and party. So I don't blame Russ or anyone else for not, adhering to that for any reason, because he probably thought he was fine. And now that we know that he's asymptomatic, he might have had it, but he might have had a different virus in its entirety. So I'm not mad at him at all, because the information we're getting is just it's not consistent enough to make me just Fort Knox myself in my house. You know what I mean? So no, not mad at all.
Yeah, I know, it is very confusing, and I've seen some memes going around on the internet that are like, California bars can stay open, but they must stay closed. Restaurants are open, but you shouldn't go in. We don't recommend it. And it's
right.
And like, okay, so what is it? Are we allowed? Are we not? Is it bad? I don't know. So, I think it's hard to expect everybody to just stay home, hold up in their homes or apartments for forever. So, yeah, I guess I can see your perspective for sure. So, Chris, I'm going to go to you. What was that, Britt?
But at least he did it a month in advance, so he would have time to get healed before, the season starts, like all the, everybody that's getting it like now or went out and did something like the day before going to the bubble is kind of crazy.
So it's good planning.
He's like, okay, I got to get it. If I'm going to get it, I guess let's do it now so I can go
get it now.
With my kids. I don't know.
So Russ is the smart one in this situation, is what we're saying. He planned ahead. He planned ahead.
Okay, Chris. obviously we mentioned that James was also late, or James Harden was also late to arriving to the bubble. Do you think that he also had coronavirus?
I mean, I'm thinking so. I mean, I don't understand what else. I don't know what else it could be, because other people that are, missing the bubble or leaving the bubble, they're all saying it's for personal reasons, stuff like that. And there was no clarification on what really was holding James Harden back. So I'm thinking that that's probably what it was, which is okay. And again, it's okay that he doesn't want to have that be out, which is fine. It's just going to leave us to assume that, though, if they're not, specifically saying whether it's, personal reasons, family, whatever it may be. But I think so. I don't know, but I'm glad that they're back and that they're both going to be okay. My thing with Russell, though, real quick, I'm cool with it. I agree with you guys. Like, we're at a point where you don't need to be caged up. When you're going to be so close to people, just wear a mask. Like, I don't understand why it's so damn difficult for everybody to be doing that. Like, I understand you getting your drink on and stuff like that. Like, you can still, step aside for a second, get your drink, and keep the mask on. I don't know. That's my only beef with it. But
what about if it's in a group of people of your own friends?
See, right. I knew you would break that guy up. No, not like that dude. That, oh my god, no, not like him. But
that was in Vegas.
I just think you let your guard down. Yeah. I think you just let your guard down when it's a group of people that you know. Like, why would you be all super guarded with people you know? That would just look weird if me and my best friend are hanging out and it's just her and I have a mask on. What the hell am I saying? So I don't know. I get letting your guard down around people you know.
The thing is the pool party is filled with hundreds of people you don't know. And those are the people that you really have to worry about. Okay, let's move on. In other bubble news, let's talk about Zion Williamson. He's actually leaving the bubble to tend to an urgent family medical matter. The Pelicans issued a statement that said, quote, "We fully support Zion's decision to leave the NBA campus to be with family. He'll rejoin the team at an unspecified date. He'll need to quarantine again to return to the bubble in a safe manner." So some details about his, the quarantine process that he's going to have to face. I wrote it down somewhere right here. Oh, yeah. He'll have to quarantine for 4 days upon returning to the NBLs if he has a negative test each day he's outside the bubble. If he's gone for 7 days or less, if he's gone for longer than a week, he'll quarantine for 4 days if he has a negative test for the final 7 days he's gone. And if he doesn't have the required testing, he will have to quarantine for 10 days. So that could really put him quite far behind. He may not even be able to join his team for their first game on July 30th. So, Chris, I want to ask you, the Pelicans obviously of their season without Zion as he was recovering from that injury. How much do you think his absence will impact the team? Is it going to hinder them?
I mean, probably slightly, because Zion Williamson is definitely one of the more important pieces on the team. But like you were saying, that they were doing well without him. It took the All-Star break right before he came back for them to figure it out. So I think that they, especially with this big old time off, anyways, everybody's coming back, rusty at some point, and it's going to be like brand new anyway. It's not like they're continuing any kind of chemistry or whatever that they had back in March, because that was a whole 4 damn months ago. So I feel like if there's an opportunity for them to be prepared for it, I think this is the time for that. I'm not saying they're going to be better without him. I just think that they can stay afloat without him, because they do have a pretty easy schedule, and I think they'll be able to handle it without Zion until he's ready to come back.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully everything is okay with his family. I know that must be a stressful thing for him to experience. So for those of you who are watching, let's send some love, some positive thoughts to Zion in the chat or in the comment section. And now let's just move on to the final news story, because there's a lot to get into with this one. Elena Delle Donne, the WNBA reigning MVP, is dealing with a pretty ridiculous battle with the league right now. So the Washington Mystics denied her application to skip the 2020 season in Orlando out of concerns for her health. And that's a very legitimate reason to skip the season, considering we're in a pandemic. And she also has Lyme disease. It's something that she's struggled with and had for a long time now. On Wednesday, she opened up about the situation in the Players Tribune and called out the league for not taking her fears or her request seriously. So she is considered high risk by many medical professionals. She's forced to take 64 pills each day to stave off the progression of her symptoms. Her doctor submitted a letter about her health condition and the risks involved with traveling. And there was a major concern about her going to Florida specifically because they probably have very overcrowded hospitals because they've basically fully opened up. So she might not be able to get the medical attention that she needs if she were to need to, go to the hospital. The league still rejected her request. The situation did not warrant medical exemption. Originally, she was at a loss because her salary isn't big enough for her to take the league to court. She can't appeal the league's decision, so her options were to travel to Orlando or forfeit her pay, which seems extremely unfair. That's a picture right there of the 64 pills that she has to take each day. But a new update claimed that Washington planned to pay her all along. The GM and coach said, quote, "We have intended to pay her from the start. She's a major part of our team, and she's making every effort to do the rehab that she needs to do. I've told her there's not going to be pressure put on her to hurry back. I'm in this, and she's in this for the long haul." It seems a little bit suspicious that they would come out and say, yeah, we've always planned on paying her right after this essay goes right after it goes viral and people are talking about it and it's all over the internet. And I also don't feel that she would have written this entire essay, this personal statement, if she knew that she'd get a salary regardless. So the timing of this seems just like a little bit weird to me. So Jackie, I want to go to you. And also I think it's worth mentioning that she's obviously a WNBA champion. She's a 2-time MVP, 5-time All-WNBA, 6 All-Star, an Olympic gold medalist, and Rookie of the Year. So she's not just like an average player. She's the best of the best. So Jackie, my first question is to you. So the WNBA doctors are following CDC guidelines that claim Lyme disease doesn't make you high risk for COVID, but obviously she and her doctor disagreed. Should the league have made an exception for Elena due to her medical condition?
I just read you a contradictory statement put out by the CDC with regards to COVID-19. So that this is beyond. When I saw this, I was just so angry. She takes over 60 pills a day just to be functional. Obviously, when you're taking that amount of pills, there's something wrong with your system. And anything that's wrong with your system, if once you get this virus, then you're in a situation. So, if they're going to the CDC and the CDC is saying one thing, you can go to turn the next page and CDC will say something else. It should be about what the player is comfortable with. It should be about, this is a woman who has a health condition that is making her concerned about her body. And it should be just that. And especially if she has her doctors telling her, whoa, slow down. If you get this, you're going to be in a situation. If you get this, where are you going to go? It's Florida. I figure like everyone in Florida has it at this point, so what is she going to do? It really should come down to her being able to say, hey, I've battled this my entire life. I've got it under control, but I don't want to battle something else on top of it. I'm a little nervous. I don't want to play. And that should be that. It literally should be up to her. It shouldn't be up to anyone else.
I agree with you completely. I found this whole thing to be pretty just like absolutely insane. So Britt, for my next question, I want to ask you, do you think that her team came out with their intentions to pay her all along because of her essay, or do you think they were truly planning on paying her regardless?
I don't think they were going to pay her regardless. The WNBA obviously has a more unique situation than the NBA because the NBA is not paying the players that go. If they don't want to go, like you can opt out in the NBA, but you don't get paid. The WNBA announced at the very beginning that regardless, all of their players are getting their full entire salaries. So they are going into it with a different mindset than NBA is, because NBA said, if you don't go, we're not going to pay you. The WNBA got a plus in the sense that they said, if our players don't go because of these reasons, then we're going to still pay them. But then they're missing the mark here when they get to a point of denying players because they don't want to pay them because to like not play or not be their star player when the WNBA already doesn't get like eyes on them as much anyway. So obviously they want their star players there, like to not pay them, but then they're giving them unrealistic situations to put them in. Like, like if she is sick and she's saying she's sick, then she shouldn't have to even go to this point to write this essay. Her doctors don't want her to go. Doctors that have been taking care of her for, I don't know how long she had Lyme disease, but however long she's had it, those doctors have been the ones in and out of their stuff, compared to whatever doctor you're going to go see at the CDC, which is kind of crazy that they would even say that, because the whole point of them saying stuff at the beginning is people that have compromised immune systems. So you would think Lyme disease would be covered under that. It's very unfortunate. It's sad. I'm not surprised. Like, even with the NBA, what they did with Kawhi Leonard and stuff like that, at some point players do have to take their own health into account, because the leagues just care about their bottom line. And because she is a star, they wanted her face to be there, because that's how they make money off the couple stars that they have. And it's very unfortunate.
It is very unfortunate. And I feel like she's being forced to choose between two not good options. So I feel for her here. Chris, is it surprising to you that the league didn't want to do more to protect a star player, or does this seem in line with how leagues typically operate?
I always hate this question because the answer is always the same, regardless of, the differences in the leagues where we'll get like the Adam Silvers doing the right things or we'll get the Roger Goodells doing the wrong things. The answer is always going to be the same regardless. No, because like Britt just said, the bottom line is what's important. For them to still offer or still say that they would be paying their players regardless. It sounds great, but it would. I knew if it came to something like this, where one of their marquee players, which El Delano is definitely one of them, when it comes to something where they would have to be skipping out, the league was not going to make it as easy as it should have been for them, as we're seeing right now. So, and that's unfortunate because they know that they need all of the faces that they can have playing this league so they can get people to watch during their bubble season. So unfortunately, because that money talks and money is what makes these leagues go around, I definitely believe that was the number one for them, especially in a situation like this. And we're seeing that right now.
It's just crazy because when you think about this in the simplest of terms possible, it seems very short-sighted to be like, no, you have to go to the bubble. Because if she does contract
100%.
coronavirus and ends up suffering some serious consequences, where's the money that you're going to make off of her for years to come? So I don't know. I think that longevity is so important and something that leagues don't tend to consider a lot of the times in these types of ways. Yes,
I just want to know. I want to know the person that said, hey, we know how many pills she has to take. Hey, we're reading her doctor's note. So what? Like, how do you process that as a human being? Like, take the WNBA out of it. How do you say as a human being, here's a person who already has a disease, but I don't care. She needs to go. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it either.
Because
they
take the humanity out of it. They take the person out of it, and it's just a stat, or it's just a dollar sign, or it's just whatever to them, like, unfortunately. And it's crazy because with the WNBA and the NBA, those are actually player-driven leagues compared to the NFL. The NFL is all about the shield, which is why they, have a totally different, like, it's in one player out the other player. They don't care. The NBA and WNBA are obviously drawn by the players, so you would think that they would care more about the players with the longevity situation. But again, it's going to come down to the WNBA is like, well, we need to make money this season. Are we going to have a next season? Are we whatever? And they're just, this girl has to play right now.
Yeah.
Yep. Wild, you guys. So I'm sure there will be more updates with this story, and we'll fill you in on all of that. But for now, that wraps up Need to Know News. So Chris, take it away.
Yes, it is time for the post up with your boy Chris, quarantine edition. But first, we are bringing back new post up correspondent Austin Rivers. After yesterday's great work that he did for us here on the post up, we decided to give him another day, and he went and he killed it. He went live yesterday and showed us all different scenes and situations within the bubble, from escape entrance emergency exits to having some reports on the Tobias Harris and Boban drama. We have everything from Austin Rivers, and like I just mentioned, he is, for those who may not know, he is actually a Florida kid himself, and he was talking about how he already has an exit strategy in case of any kind of emergency, and he feels like he needs to get out. He feels like he has the perfect emergency exit, and this is the first video. If we can get that one up first.
Realistically, man, if I wanted to, I'm not saying I would. I'm not saying I would, but I'm just saying if I wanted to, I really could, because I'm the last thing. I'm on the top floor. I can literally walk up here. I probably could escape. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I probably could escape. And I'm from here. I could get a driver arranged ASAP. I'm not gonna do it. But people keep asking for Steve. Hold on, man.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna get to that one next. So, leave it there.
Steve just minding his own business.
Leave it there. We gonna talk about Steve right now. But so people. This video, I love this one. Is probably my favorite of the videos on this. But yes, people in his initial stream from yesterday, we didn't talk about it post up, but Steve made an appearance because he is one of the security guards that's in for his building that made a few appearances in the live, and then he became a character. So then when they went live again, everybody in the chat was asking for Steve. And let me tell you, my man Steve is working hard and ready for his time to shine. So if we could continue to do the next video.
That's horrible. Like, stop creeping.
I can't, but the thing is, I can't say I wouldn't. I would be doing the same. That's the type of crap that I'm doing too. So like, that's why it's so funny to me, because I don't know. I think that's hilarious. But poor Steve is out here, and guys, don't worry, because this isn't the end of Steve, because Steve makes an appearance again later on. But continuing on with the Austin Rivers update for the post up, he yeah. All right. Yeah. Not a great look when it comes to the room. We saw the other rooms, and yeah, his is definitely at the bottom, itty bitty bottom of the list. But next up, like I said, he is updating us on the drama within the bubble. We started off the bubble talking about the drama between Bobby and Toby, and we have a bit of an update. And when Tobias Harris is not in front of the camera, whatnot.
Camera, please. Can we get this?
Yeah. The I haven't covered my nose properly.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is how to wear a mask 101. This is definitely not how you do it. If your mask is exposed, you're doing it wrong. But anyways, yeah, so he updated us on the Bobby and Toby drama, and he got a video of Tobias Harris looking very, very sad while he's on the boat with his teammates Matisse Thybulle and Kyle O'Quinn. But just check Tobias Harris's face. It's hilarious.
Look at this man. He ain't the same since Bobby left him. He ain't, look at the depression in his eyes.
Biting his nail.
I just want greener pastures. Oh man, it's just sad.
That's how he celebrated his birthday.
Yeah, but he doesn't look like he's having fun.
Oh.
That water looked like it was infested with the virus. That water looked gross.
Yes, exactly. We're wondering why Florida's numbers are so far up. Yeah, 100%. All right, and then to get off of the report from my boy Austin Rivers, last but not least, we are closing this out with an update on our boy Steve, because Steve was not done. We got a little bit of update, a little bit closer this time, but Steve was still pretending to be hard at work. And can we wrap it up with that? Go ahead.
So you got security everywhere.
Wait a minute until he finds out who it is.
Yep. Right around. There's snitches everywhere.
Yeah.
Snitches everywhere.
It's so savage. It was throwing snitches everywhere. And that's it. We can end it work there, Lou. Yeah, that's it. But anyways, we got up there with Steve, and as you can see, after time and minutes and hours of pacing back and forth and walking in circles, even Steve needed some time to take a break. Anyways, Austin Rivers, my guy, correspondent, unofficial, official correspondent of Post Up. I appreciate you, Austin. We're looking forward to any more updates that you can give us. Appreciate you, my guy. Moving on to like Britt was just saying, it was actually Tobias Harris's birthday, but it was also another one of your favorite players' birthday yesterday. It was Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard was celebrating his 30th birthday yesterday, and his good pal CJ McCollum made sure that he could do whatever he could to at least make him feel special on his birthday in the bubble, and he decorated his room. If you can see this picture right here, put up a little bit of streamers, and he's so excited about it, being a good friend, like, geez, Dame's gonna be so excited, and it's a fun little moment. It's cute, got the colors and whatnot. Damian Lillard then did see this on Twitter and responded to it and saying simply, this dude is crazy, LOL. You can feel the love from the two teammates. So happy birthday, happy 30th to Damian Lillard. And yes, like we were saying, it was not just Dame's birthday, it was Tobias Harris's birthday. And it looks like, even though he was looking real sad and like he was going to go cry on the boat while Kyle O'Quinn and Matisse were going to go fishing, that is not the fact, because he is, I guess him and Bobby made up, because Bobby gave him a very, very nice birthday gift, and it's looking like Tobias Harris is accepting that gift as an apology. If we can run that video, please.
Hey, Bobby, you're a good dude, brother.
Aw.
I forgive you.
No,
Don't do it again.
There it is.
But we back, brother. We back.
That's all we need to hear. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so glad that we can go on that ride together here. Yes, we were able to go on that ride together on Post Up. Yes. See, normally we don't get happy endings here. You know, it's always drama and this and no. They made up. They're good friends, and I'm expecting to see a video of them together sooner rather than later. But look good for them. They made up. That's happiness. Now, this next one's stupid. To some people, this might be exciting. I mean, since we heard Ben Simmons' sister talk about possibly opening up OnlyFans where content like what I'm about to show you would be put up on there. So if you're a Sixers fan in our chat, please don't get too excited. All right, like keep that to yourself. Disgusting. But yeah, I'm about to show you guys some Ben Simmons porn. Leo, can we run the footage, please? Yeah. Ben Simmons is making jump shots, ladies and gentlemen. And look, I know a lot of people are seeing this, and people are going to be so excited, like, oh, he's shooting. This is exciting. You guys know that I can give a damn less about this, because this is not a new occurrence. Ben Simmons there's tons and tons and tons, folders upon hard drives, upon computers full of footage of this man making jump shots in practice. We don't care about the practice, Ben Simmons. Follow the person who wore the Sixers jersey before you. Practice? We talking about a game, Ben. We want to see you doing that when July 30th, 31st, whenever your first game is. I want all of that happening in the game. Good for you. I'm glad. And to the fact that he's doing with the glove, people who may not understand, that actually helps with the jump shot, because it makes your hand a little bit more uncomfortable wearing the glove. And then when you take the gloves off, it makes it easier for you to shoot a shot. So seeing that is dope as well. But I don't care. If I see another Sixers game and we see that you went 9 of 12 and took one jump shot and you owe one, then all of this is for naught. So miss me with it. But again, congratulations, Ben Simmons, you making jump shots. Moving on. Dwight Howard was snitched on. Somebody out there snitching on Dwight Howard. Dwight in trouble. He got snitched on. And apparently, like we were talking about yesterday, somebody caught him out there in those bubble streets without a mask. And somebody called the Snitch Hotline. And Dwight Howard got a bit of a warning. Yes, as you see, Dwight said that someone had called the NBA Hotline on him for not wearing a mask. He was given a very stern warning. Now, I'm not going to play the game of who did it, because the answer is going to be the same every time we play this game, because people are unoriginal and they're all going to say it's Chris Paul, even though I understand why. But again, we don't even know if Chris Paul's staying with the Lakers. For all we know, Lakers got a whole building to themselves because Lakers. See, Brit is team not Chris Paul. Team leave Chris Paul alone.
That's
I don't know.
in the Lakers hotel.
See, right. So there it is.
Where's Austin Rivers staying?
Creative.
Where's Austin Rivers staying? Because maybe he was.
I don't think they're saying Austin Rivers.
Yeah, because Austin's out here like, yeah, he said snitches everywhere. Maybe he's talking about himself, and even though he's wearing his mask wrong, he is wearing a mask.
Austin's walking around alone. He ain't got no friends. Clearly, in the bubble,
it's just
that he ain't got no friends.
And Steve might have gave him the tip. Steve might have gave him the tip, so then he made the phone call. Okay. All right, Austin. Look, man, I know you were corresponding, but my man, we can't be getting no snitches here on the Post Up Inc. Okay, we can't be doing that. All right, come on, man. Got to represent a little bit better than that. All right. And this is dope. We talked about the Toronto Raptors having personalized, souped up Black Lives Matter buses going into the bubble. They continued coming into this bubble with swag because now they're out here decorating their whole entire floor with Toronto and Raptors merch everywhere, making it look as if they are at home. You see, they got the whole skyline of Toronto right there. They got the Raptor stuff, We the North, right as soon as they come out of the elevators. I think this is fire. I think this is dope. But here's my other thinking. Like, I understand it took a lot to put together and blah, blah, wham, wham, wham. But here's the thing. NBA, shouldn't the NBA have just done this from the jump for all the teams? Like, even if it's not for all the teams, maybe for the upper teams. I don't know. I think it's dope that the Raptors went, the whole Raptors like team went out and did this and went the extra mile for the team to help them feel a little bit more at home. I don't know if it's working, but I just feel like there's something that the league could have probably done themselves. But hey, whatever. I guess maybe
I can't even get the food right, Chris.
Yeah, you are so right.
They have other problems to worry about.
Other things to talk about right now.
What am I thinking? I'm giving them.
The champs had to come with their stuff, though. They had to look like they were the defending
shout out.
champs.
They had to remind them. That's right. We the North, man. Look, no matter where we fall in this playoffs, remember who was the last champion, okay? But yeah, okay, you're probably right though. The NBA got more things to worry about. All right.
It reminds me of when I went to cheer camp. Sorry, cheer camp. We would do this and decorate.
You guys would decorate?
For them to pass out the spirit stick.
Oh my goodness.
That couldn't touch the ground. That the spirit stick that can't touch the ground. That's a ridiculous stick. I hate that stick.
Get the spirit stick of the week, guys. They win.
With how the Raptors been out here in these streets, I would not put it past them. That definitely could be something that comes next. Speaking of snitching, we were talking about snitching a little bit with Dwight Howard, and we're going to Rudy Gobert, who has his opinions on snitching. And some people are not taking it too lightly because of what happened with Rudy Gobert at the start of all this. And people are saying, like, Rudy Gobert has the nerve to say this. But anyways, I'll let you guys decide how you feel about Rudy Gobert's response. But he was talking about the snitch hotline and if players should be using it, and if it's okay to use it and blah, 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 blah. Rudy Gobert said, I don't know if someone's going to use it, but I think it's sort of petty. At the same time, you want to make sure that people respect the rules, but I don't think the line will really help at that point. I think it's more about respecting each other and all do it as a small community. Now, I think that was pretty much like the same sentiment we said yesterday because we had, me and Devin were saying, if you see like a Dwight Howard situation, you see a dude out there not wearing a mask, you go ahead and yell at him, be like, yo, Dwight, put your damn mask on, Superman. All right, we ain't all like you worried about kryptonite. We got other problems, okay? But then at the same time, he's right. It is petty, but at the same time, like Britt and Jackie were saying, petty is going to help your team win. I ain't worried about you. You ain't part of mine, all right? You ain't repping with me and my Lakers or repping with me and my Raptors. I don't know you. You just a Rockets player. So if you're doing the wrong thing, I'm calling the phone on you. So I see it on both sides. But here's my question, though, before I quickly move to this last one. Do you think that Rudy Gobert, I'm going to go to you, Britt. Do you think Rudy Gobert is the wrong person that share this sentiment, or does it really matter? Because the internet was going after Rudy Gobert for feeling this way and having him be the one to feel this way and saying that it's petty to be telling on each other.
It is. I don't think it's wrong that he said it. At this point, how many numbers of players have gotten the coronavirus since Rudy Gobert?
Right.
And again, we've been speaking a million times about who knows if Rudy was the first one to actually really be like the first person to get it in the league. There could have been players that had it and went away with all this asymptomatic stuff like way before Rudy. So Rudy can say that because at this point, almost half the league seems like gotten it already anyway. So why not? Why can't he have an opinion on something? I love the pettiness. So Rudy, just be quiet. Just let people be petty. It's fine.
Okay. So keep the phone ringing.
I thought Donovan Mitchell was one of the people that are snitching. So that's his own teammate.
That's too close to home. Oh man, we're gonna bring back some more drama. But be careful. Stop that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay.
Let's let Austin Rivers know this bit so he can go investigate for us.
Yeah, we need to get Austin on the streets and then talk to Steve so he can get the undercover work. Yes, we were Austin. Hey, you getting that, Austin? Okay, I'm expecting an update by tomorrow or Monday. All right, thanks, Austin. All right, we'll get back on that one. And last but not least, we got my boy LaMelo Ball showing off the vertical. I don't really have much to say besides just showing y'all the clip of LaMelo throwing a pretty damn dope self alley-oop with a nice finish at the end of this. Behind the back. Sick. Draft me. So, nice stuff after a workout. I mean, Yeah, it was dope. It was off the backboard, and I think what the big deal about it is like just literally probably about maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, this kid was struggling to even barely touch the rim for a dunk for as big as he is, and now he's showing that he got the vert up a little bit. So, yeah. Fans were excited. I being one of them, and it was nice to see LaMelo Ball out there doing what you gotta do. I'm still praying and hoping that maybe, I'm not gonna even say that loud because I don't want to risk it. I'll leave it to LeVar.
That's just what I was thinking.
He's just that tall now. No, he's just that tall now. That's the thing. A lot of people are saying that. No, it is. He's just that tall now. He's 6'8", so the hoop looks way smaller now. It's crazy.
And Jackie's face, we're like,
yeah. Look. Hey, LeVar. Hey, I told you.
In the ground, and it just feels a little low to me. That's all I'm saying.
I told LeVar moved out, so I can't ask him and be like, LeVar, yo, man, I don't know. He ain't living in the house no more. He left trying to get something ready for the draft. I know. I'm sorry. But anyways, on that note, before we move on, I do want to briefly talk about what we've been supporting with EJI, the Equal Justice Initiative, for the last few weeks. We have been taking donations in support of the Equal Justice Initiative. The Equal Justice Initiative is an incredible nonprofit organization that provides legal representation to prisoners who may have been wrongfully convicted of crimes, poor prisoners without effective representation, or others who may have been denied a fair trial. Now, we've been sharing a lot of stories and different cases that show you how unfair the justice system can be. And today I want to talk to you guys about Clifford Williams Jr. and Nathan Myers. Now, Clifford Williams Jr. And his nephew, Nathan Myers, were released 43 years after being wrongfully convicted of murder in Florida. A Duval County circuit judge vacated their convictions based on the recommendation of the state attorney's office. The two men were convicted in the 1976 killing of Jeanette Williams, whose girlfriend, Nina Marshall, was wounded during the shooting. Miss Marshall's testimony was the only evidence tying to the men to the crime. She testified that Mr. Williams and Mr. Myers broke into her home while she and her girlfriend slept, and the two men fired gunshots at them from the foot of their bed. Homicide detectives responding to the crime scene found physical evidence showing the bullets were fired from outside the house and through the bedroom window, and that they all came from a single gun. Police found that neither man had gunshot residue on his hands. Just hours after the shooting, Mr. Williams and Mr. Myers identified 40 people who could testify that they were at a birthday party just next door during the shooting. But defense counsel ignored the physical evidence and presented no witnesses. The first trial resulted in a mistrial. After the second trial, which lasted a whole 2 days, the jury convicted and recommended life imprisonment for both of these guys. The conviction review, the conviction review unit's investigation found that another man who had been in the neighborhood that night had confessed to at least 5 different people that he was in fact the one who killed Ms. Williams. And this is why it is so important for organizations like the Equal Justice Initiative to be around to help men like Nathan Myers and Clifford Williams Jr. So if you want to be a part of the movement, you want to help out in any way you can, there's a link in the description below for you guys to send whatever little donation you can. As we've been saying, you can also send super chats, as we've seen people in the lives in the past that goes directly to them. If you want to learn a little bit more, please go to eji.org. And whatever you guys can help and donate is always appreciated, and definitely go over there and learn more about what they do. And like I said, every little bit helps, and thank you guys for what you're doing. We're almost there. Past 1,000, we're gaining on our goal really, really fast. So please, whatever you got.
Thank you so much, Chris. And now, Jackie, like I said, I've been practicing, so get ready for some great vocals. Tell us what we not gonna do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're muted, Jackie.
Oh, wait, I think you're muted.
Okay, because I was scared, so that's my bad. I didn't know what I was gonna get, but Devin, okay, Chris, she got her job back.
All right.
All right, guys. Chris got words for that, but we'll get into that later. All right. So listen, you guys, my mom always said it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So what we're not going to do is pretend that saying that the original inhabitants of Africa were black is a bad thing. So I don't know if you guys know, but Nick Cannon was fired from Viacom yesterday for making what is called anti-Semitic statements. If you didn't see the podcast, or if you didn't hear the podcast, or if you didn't see it on YouTube in its entirety, I don't know if you really know the context of which things were said in that entire podcast. He did have Professor Griff on the podcast, which I could see people saying just by having Professor Griff on there alone was anti-Semitic, but that's not what they were saying. They were basically calling out Nick personally. I saw it right before the 4th of July holiday. I didn't have an issue with it personally. He did say that he felt that the original inhabitants of Africa were black and therefore Hebrews were black. Again, maybe if he had left it at that and he didn't say savages or evil, which again, that was kind of taken out of context in the clips that you guys are seeing, you'd have to watch it in its entirety. But he didn't leave it at that, and so now we get a fake apology. He didn't originally apologize. Originally, he demanded an apology from Viacom and told Viacom he wanted his Wildin' Out segment to be his own. He wanted the rights to that because he created that, at which point P. Diddy came on and offered him a job at Viacom or at Revolt. And then King James bestie, Dwayne Wade, also tweeted. He tweeted, Nick Cannon, we are with you, keep leading. So if you don't know anything about Nick Cannon has been on this kick to really empower the black community and educate the black community for a long time. So that's what I took this comment from Dwayne Wade to mean. Keep leading in that regard. Don't be derailed by this moment. No one else took it like that. And he received over 2,000 immediate tweets. They were all negative. They were all black backlash. He deleted it, and then he went on and posted 2 other tweets. The first one saying, I want to clarify my now deleted tweet. I was not supporting or condoning what Nick Cannon specifically said, but I had expressed my support of him owning the content and the brand he helped create. The second tweet said, I was too quick to respond without being fully informed about his hurtful anti-Semitic remarks. As you all know, I have zero tolerance for any hate speech. Nick has also changed his tune, and he issued a public apology that clearly his PR people wrote. But if you go to the comments on his second tweet, it's straight down the middle. You know, half the people are saying, you know, Nick didn't say anything that wasn't true. And then half people are no, it's completely anti-Semitic. But now, if you didn't watch it, none of you are going to really get a chance to form your own opinions because you're just going to see these snippets because now the YouTube and the podcast have been taken down. I'm sure it exists somewhere, but you're going to have to search for it. And I don't think any of y'all are going to really do that. But Devin, I want to come to you on this one because, like I said, he has deleted the full interview, and you and I talked before the show, and I know you haven't seen it in its entirety. So what did you think not only of what Nick said, but of Dwayne Wade kind of coming in initially in support of Nick Cannon?
Well, it's hard for me to comment on exactly what Nick said because as I'm hearing from you, the interview itself was taken out of context. So I can't really say. I saw quotes that, where he said, it seemed like he said he was equating Jewish people with savages and animals, which obviously is an extremely discriminatory and hurtful thing to say about a group of people. And I also do feel that inviting somebody who has built a platform off of anti-Semitism, you're opening yourself up for criticism and you're opening yourself up for that kind of negative backlash. So I do want to say that. But in regards to Dwayne Wade's tweet, I feel like it's a little bit confusing as to why he would post like "we stand with you" if he didn't truly know what was going on, if he didn't feel fully informed. And maybe you're right, maybe he really was just saying that about Nick's work within and for the Black community, which fine, if you want to support that, go ahead. Like, I don't think anybody would argue with you on that. But I just feel like you have to read the room, which is something that we've said a lot. So maybe it wasn't the right time for him to come out and say, we're with you. Instead, it's like, take a look at the whole big picture, figure out what's going on, maybe even support in private. But I think that, obviously, if you're going to come out when people are dragging Nick for anti-Semitic remarks, whether or not they truly were, like, it's just not the right time to come out and say, like, I'm standing with you. At least that's how I feel. But again, I do want to clarify, like, I haven't been able to see the full interview. And now that it is gone, I didn't even really start hearing about it until just a few days ago. But
right.
I don't know. I just felt like it wasn't really the right move. And I don't think anti-Semitic people should have a platform. I don't think racist people should have a platform. Anti-Semitic people, hate speech is just wrong on all accounts for any group of people.
Yeah, and the main thing, I got from this, like, Nick probably wouldn't have been in half the trouble he was in if he would have been a good interviewer and let the other guy talk a little bit. He would have said less, but, it is what it is. So it's unfortunate that we can't see it again. But let me move on to this next one, because this one's kind of hilarious for me, because I remember the first time I got to stand on the sidelines in Denver and interview some special team players for the Denver Broncos. I was so excited, and I knew that one day I was going to work for ESPN. But now what we're not going to do is pretend like that would have been a good fit for me, because we've seen the steady decline of Black women on that platform. We saw what happened to Jamil Hill, so we can imagine what would happen to your girl. So no, that would not have been a good fit at all. But earlier this week, the New York Times released a whole article about Black employees that work behind the cameras and all the discriminatory action that they've received. Like, again, we know what other Black women have received. But wait, you guys, because there is more. Because now Rachel Nichols was unknowingly recorded in her hotel room while on a private conversation. And it's a video that was recorded by someone else on their phone, and it was sent to a media outlet in the hopes of damaging her relationship, with ESPN. But the reason why it's not funny, but it's very ESPN-like. Like, ESPN is becoming the NCAA to me now, because they're just getting everything wrong. But whoever recorded that works for ESPN. They had access to the feed. And then when she forgot to turn off her camera, they recorded it. And apparently she was saying bad things about either how ESPN treats its personnel or how people are selected to report on certain things. So, ESPN addressed the matter by saying, "We are extremely disappointed about the leak of a private conversation. It's indefensible and an intrusion on Rachel's privacy." But like I said, she must have said something pretty juicy, because ESPN also said, as for the substance of the conversation, it is not reflective of our decision making on staffing assignments for the NBA, which has largely been driven by the circumstances of the pandemic. The hell does that mean? So I have looked so high and so low to try to find this leaked footage, but I cannot find it. Chris, what do you think that ESPN means by saying, "Oh, whatever she said in this conversation, that's not reflective of how we assign who's going to report on what for ESPN"?
They guilty. Because obviously, like you're saying, she was saying something about how poorly ESPN was handling whatever it may have been, and I haven't heard the leak. But here's my thing too: like, not only did you guys get caught recording what she was saying in the private conversation, but then now you're commenting on what was said in that conversation you should not have heard in the first place. Like, I understand it was out, but I don't know. To me, all of it is backwards. But yeah, definitely that response comes across as they are guilty. Because now they're like, we don't support what was said in that. That is not us. I don't know where this is coming from. Like, no, guilty.
Yeah, she's whoever recorded it sent the leaked calls to Deadspin. I looked, I couldn't find them. If you work at Deadspin and you feel like calling the Snitch hotline, the Fumble is here for it. Go ahead and snitch and send that over to us so we can find out what was on that footage. Not that we want to, disparage Rachel in any way, but if she is disparaging ESPN,
yes,
I'm here for it. You can go ahead and put Chris back up on the screen, because it's about that time. Chris, now put some emphasis on it, because, last time, you was kind of late. And you ready? Clear your throat, me.
Stop. All right, I'm ready. Yeah.
Because now it's time for Brit's Takes.
Brit's Takes.
All right.
Okay, guys. I don't want to do this take today, because you guys already know what I'm going to be talking about. I thought we would get some shit done yesterday, my Dallas Cowboys, but it didn't happen. So instead of saying, "Damn it, Devin," today, we are saying, "Damn it, Dallas. Fumbled the bag." Okay. I don't know. Man, producer, do I have to do this shit today? Do I have to speak? Can we just not have a Brit's Take today? Because I'm so upset because Cowboys decided to not secure Dak Prescott after the deadline to sign a franchise tagged player came and went yesterday. Like, prior to the show ending yesterday, I said that we had about an hour left. The Cowboys had about an hour to sign Dak Prescott. They did not get it done. They did watch Brit's Take enough to get the Derrick Henry deal done, because that was one of the only deals, that actually was the only deal that was done yesterday for the franchise tagged players, was Derrick Henry's deal, which I will probably talk about tomorrow a little bit. Just a little heads up for my Brits take for tomorrow. But Dak, actually, the reason why this is so extraordinarily huge is because in NFL history, yesterday, Dak Prescott only became the third player in NFL history to ever be going into a quarterback season as a franchised quarterback. Ever in the history of the NFL, there's only been 3 players. You guys know the other 2. Kirk Cousins was one of them. He was franchised 2 seasons in a row with Washington. And then obviously 2 people on the panel know this guy very well. Drew Brees was franchised before he came to the Saints. He was franchised when he was with the Chargers. Obviously, they franchised him that season because they knew that Phillip Rivers had came there, and so they let go of him that following season, and this is why he ended up with the Saints. We also know with Kirk Cousins, after those 2 seasons he was franchised, they did not sign a long-term deal with him. He actually went to the Vikings after and signed a long-term deal with the Vikings. So this doesn't look very good in comparison to the other 2 quarterbacks in NFL history that have ever been franchised going into the season, because the other 2 did not stay with their teams. We know Drew went to the Saints, and we know Kirk Cousins ended up going with the Vikings. So with that, it scares me a little bit. But I think Dak Prescott might become the first quarterback in NFL history to go into a season with a franchise tag and then end up still signing the following season with the team. Because I don't think Dak is that, or I don't think the Cowboys are that dumb. So according to NFL Network's Jan Slater, she reported yesterday, roughly around the time that the deal was supposed to be, or right before the franchise, or right after, sorry, the franchise deadline was over. If you're going, it was 1 p.m. In Dallas at the time, it was 3 p.m. She reported that they actually were looking into a very, very last-minute deal that actually would have been reportedly worth $35 million per season for Dak, with $110 million guaranteed. This also included $70 million in the first 2 seasons alone and a $50 million signing bonus. Now, this actually puts Dak, because we know Patrick Mahomes did sign this huge deal, but that actually doesn't take into effect until after 2 seasons. So with the next 2 seasons coming up, he actually has been very within hundreds of thousands of dollars to being tied with Russell Wilson for the highest paid NFL contract right now per season. And then obviously with Jared Goff as the most guaranteed money that an NFL quarterback has gotten, with that $110 million. So it was kind of the best of both worlds, because he was getting the highest paid dollar of a current quarterback and the highest guaranteed money of a current quarterback combined in his deal. We all know Dak's huge thing was the 4-year deal over the 5-year deal. So I believe that that's the reason why it didn't get done, and they basically ran out of time in negotiating, and the clock had hit 3 p.m. in Dallas, and the deal hadn't been signed at that time. So it was basically voided after that moment. So the deal didn't get signed. And he will be making $31.4 million on his franchise tag this season, again, becoming the 3rd quarterback to ever play a season on a franchise tag. If he is franchised next year, the franchise tag for him next year would actually go up to $38 million, which would actually make him the highest paid for that season of an NFL quarterback. And then the following season, if he gets tagged for 3 years in a row, it would be $54 million, making him the highest paid player in NFL history on a franchise tag and a contract let alone. So the franchise tag can benefit a player if it continues on, because obviously it's going to go with the market. So next season, if he gets franchise tagged again, he would be for the season, the highest paid player. The following year, he would be the highest paid player again with $54 million, and that would be a record-breaking contract across sports in general. So franchise tags can benefit players, but it also doesn't give you that guaranteed money. It doesn't give you any insurance on your season in your career, which is the biggest problem, which kind of confused me why Dak didn't want to sign a the 5-year deal because that's more insurance on his thing, especially with this COVID-19 situation, because the NFL could very well likely lower their cap next year. They can have a smaller cap next year due to the fact that they lost so much money from COVID-19 this season. And we all know that's when next year the CBA starts next season. That's when everything starts. That's when the new TV deal is supposed to be done. So if they don't get that kind of money from the TV deal and from whatever, the salary cap would be lower. So for Dak's purpose, I am confused a little bit why he didn't want to just go with the 5-year deal, because at least he would get that guaranteed money. For Dallas, I don't understand why they didn't want to just do the 4-year deal with Dak. It's just a whole confusing thing. But as far as money-wise, Dak was up there. And I don't know if he just randomly thought now because of the Patrick Mahomes deal that he should get paid more money. I don't agree with that. But I do agree with him being across the board, every single list you look at, whether it's Madden list, ESPN's list, he's a top 10 quarterback in the league, period. There's no talking about that, trying to debate that. He is a top 10 quarterback in this league. Obviously, most people wouldn't have him a top 5 quarterback, but he's averaging around 7 on everybody's list as one of the top quarterbacks in the league. So obviously, he wants to get paid as so. Obviously, he deserves a long-term deal. Obviously, it didn't happen in this situation. Dak's brother, Tad, actually took to social media and tweeted immediately after the signing wasn't done and said, "There is a reason I was never a Dallas Cowboys fan growing up or before they drafted Dak. After today, who knows how much longer I'll be cheering for them." I would say you're still going to be cheering for him for a long time, even though the deal was not done. Obviously, now we know they cannot negotiate another contract with him until after the season is over. I think it will get done. I think at this point, now it's up in the air who has the leverage. Obviously, we knew the Dallas Cowboys had it going into this situation because of them getting Andy Dalton as a backup quarterback for the team. At Dak Prescott's last season, he threw for almost 5,000 yards. He had 30 touchdowns. It was his best statistical season that he has ever had. The Cowboys failed to make the playoffs even with that, even though the Cowboys had the number 1 ranked offense in the league. Obviously, our defense was middle, but we've made moves in the offseason to fix that. Every single player that we needed to sign, we got signed in the last 16 months. That includes Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, DeMarcus Lawrence got signed to his deal. Everybody we needed to secure, we secured. So we don't need to worry about anybody besides Dak Prescott at this point. So I do think after this season is over, the deal gets done. It depends on if it's going to be a better deal for Dak at that point or the deal is going to be worse. And that obviously depends on, like I said, the COVID-19 situation, what the new salary cap would potentially be if COVID affects the NFL as much as we think it possibly could, and their TV dollars as much as we think it possibly could. And then also his production, if he ends up not having a great season, or if his season doesn't happen at all, that is going to go against Dak Prescott like you would not believe. This is going to end up being it to a point where another team probably wouldn't want to sign him. He could get injured. He could have a poor season, like whatever the case is, this could go against Dak like crazy. If he has an amazing season, the Cowboys actually still kind of have the upper hand in a sense that they can re-franchise tag Dak Prescott next season as well, if he does not want to come to terms to a deal. So I'm hoping this gets done, obviously, after this next season. I'm sad it wasn't done. Now, Dak released a statement saying that he is a Dallas Cowboy and happy to be. I know Dak is just a nice guy and saying it. I know he's upset that he didn't get a deal done because, like I've said millions and millions of times before, the NFL, we always know, stands for not for long, and players can get hurt at any second. Thank goodness we have a really good one, if not one of the best offenses in the league. So hopefully Dak feels protected and safe in this upcoming season, but it's football. Who knows what can happen? So I hope he plays great this season. I hope something gets done because I would love to see him long term. I don't see any situation where we get another quarterback unless, can I give you guys a little tidbit of what I possibly think? If Cam Newton has a breakout season this upcoming year, and he signed that 1-year deal with the Patriots. Could he possibly sign with the Dallas Cowboys next year? Is this something that could happen?
I hope not. No, Jesus, no.
We know when Cam Newton played his last chance JUCO season, he played it in Texas. He's already played Texas football. He enjoyed his time in Texas, even though he was playing at a JUCO. So I could see him playing with the Dallas Cowboys. I could see Jerry Jones coming to some situation with Cam Newton. One of my really good friends was working out yesterday in LA. I'm not going to say where because I'm not going to tell you guys where Cam Newton works out at, but Cam Newton was there filming with his crew, so I'm sure we're going to see another Cam Newton video coming out because she was running the track at a football field, and Cam Newton was there working out, putting in that good work yesterday, and I would love to see him in a Dallas Cowboys uniform. But with all that said, I want them to sign Dak Prescott. I think he fits with our team. I think he knows our receivers very well. The line knows his counts, knows everything perfect, and I feel like he would be a good fit for the long haul. So I hope this comes to a deal. I'm sad that I had to report that the deal was not made. It's actually probably one of my more sadder Brits takes I've ever done. Chris, I'm going to go to you really quick. Are you surprised that this deal was not done, and do you think that this deal is just now delayed and will be done, or do you think that this is the last season we will see Dak Prescott in a Cowboys uniform?
Oh my goodness. So, oh man. So you came to me because, this is a very, this is why it's hard for me to say anything because a lot of these moves that the Cowboys made with this sound very similar to a certain basketball team I like to root for. God, I think that there's still a possibility of him coming back to the team, but you want my honest to God opinion? I really believe that this was all a part of Dak's plan. I really think that Dak, especially if we're coming to this point, I think Dak is trying to get out. I've been saying this. I'm sorry. I just honestly feel like when we're coming to this point, because like you said, the Cowboys had the leverage, and Dak should have I don't know. He should have taken the first 5 contracts that they offered to him, and he's still not taking them. And as he should be, saying that he's worth more. But I don't know. To me, I have an underlying feeling that he's been trying to get out. That's just how I feel about it.
Do that.
You asked me.
No, because I'm going to call it a very bad prediction because we all know what was this season. This offseason was the quarterback offseason. There were tons of big deals done, getting new quarterbacks and stuff like that. Where is Dak going to go? You think he's going to go to the Steelers, or there's very teams that don't have a quarterback in place for the next 3 to 4 years.
Send him to Cleveland. 8-8 will work great. 8-8 will go great in Cleveland.
I don't think he's going to have the same problems to get a job though, because he doesn't have.
You hate Dak Prescott. That's what you're saying here, because you don't want nobody to go to Cleveland because you like people. So you're telling me right now,
yeah, Jackie,
is that what we're doing right now? You're trying to end Dak Prescott's career.
I'm saying if y'all think purgatory, look, if y'all think purgatory is something y'all can get out of, let's see how Dak gets out of it. Let's see. And since he over here I mean, yeah, I look.
Prescott go to Cleveland.
Absolutely but silver lining. But silver lining.
I rooted for him when he was at Mississippi State.
I don't want Cam going to Dallas, and so
I was just gonna say
if you putting Cam in Dallas, I'm putting Dak in Cleveland.
I like that prediction. I think it's going to be a situation of Dak not coming back, but I do like the Cam to Dallas. I think as much as we might not like it,
Dak is going to be in a really jacked up situation. Dak is going to end up having another decent season or above average season where he's going to throw maybe 32 touchdowns and maybe over 500 yards, and they're still going to go 8-8. It's like a game of horseshoes. I don't care how good it's still horseshoes. Nobody's going to care. He's going to end up back in the same situation next season. This is going to be
historically. They've been known to pay players. They paid everybody.
But for some reason, they don't pay Dak. So you got to put an asterisk by that. But we over time. We over time. I'm getting a shirt made as Dak to Cleveland. When y'all see me in that shirt next week, just know I had it made. Don't say Dak to Cleveland.
4-year thing, which
Don't
I
do
think
that,
I'm
Dak.
most about because I feel like you should want to sign a long-term deal. I don't know why Dak just wanted the 4-year deal. But other than that, I feel like the deal would have been done. It's weird. I mean, I don't know any quarterbacks that really sign just 4-year deals like that. It's weird, like especially when you've already been with the team for a while and you're young in your career. So, Patrick Mahomes just signed a 10-year deal.
10-year deal
after winning the Super Bowl. It's not the same. He did not go 8-8. Let's not compare. Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
He didn't have the best offensive line, though. So that
we out of time. Devin's like, is my mic muted? Why ain't they shutting up?
Wait, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you fine.
But your facial expressions speak louder than words.
Oh, God.
You guys subscribe to the Fumble, tap the bell for notifications, leave a comment below. Don't forget to donate, give us super chats to go to EJI, wash your hands, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Dak is staying in Dallas. Woo!
Dak to Cleveland. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, man.